Thank you. Here you go. No, sure.
See ya!
See ya. That's hello. Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many people here. I really appreciate this. Okay, here we go. Is this better? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the chance to speak here tonight about my country that used to be a very strong, economically, really strong kingdom that used to be free. Yes, I heard that. I titled this, My Journey for Your Freedom. On this day, the struggle to maintain freedom in our country continues. From the moment the Declaration of Independence was signed, our independence, the precious freedoms in it, instantly became vulnerable to erosion, to the ambitions of the self-centered and the power-hungry. You are all a very lucky people to have been born in the land of the free. But I must question this on this day, especially in these times when this all-important freedom is so severely threatened. Does your passion still resonate in every cell of your being, as it did inside your ancestors, who over 200 years ago secured this incredible thing called freedom? Are you still so in love with your country that you feel your blood boil when someone questions its dignity? And does it humble you to your knees when you pledge allegiance to your flag? I would like to believe my birthland of Hungary endured what it did, so our America may not have to. It gives me a bit of comfort to think it was not for nothing that once a large and strong kingdom was reduced to shambles at the whim of people we thought were smart. To stand here and think that I might have something of importance to offer makes me wonder. Perhaps my journey was necessary, not only for my freedom, but perhaps for yours as well. My question to you today is, I see your eyes are open, but do you truly see? At the end of World War II, Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin, with pen in hand, changed the destinies of 8 sovereign nations and took the God-given right of men to freedom from millions. Nations suddenly fell under total Soviet rule, and their only guilt was their geography. We were given to slavery by important men who didn't know us, didn't understand our history, and frankly didn't care what Stalin will do with us. The Red Army marched through without opposition. They intimidated and plundered. They took the food from the mouths of starving children. They ripped earrings out of women's ears, and they slammed their babies against walls if they cried. Fathers, brothers, sons, and husbands were shot on the spot if they tried to protest while their women were being raped in front of them. In one of the ancient Hungarian cities is a marble plaque that reads, "They came believing in the revolution. They asked for a hopeful future. Cannons, tanks, and machine guns answered them. On October 26, 1956, it is in this place they received their fatal wounds." They were regular citizens who loved their country, and they did not set out to become heroes. Most of them were barely adults, and they were killed because they dreamed of freedom. The Hungarian Revolution was not an organized event. It happened spontaneously. It contagiously swept through the entire country within hours. The gathering and the actions of the students was looked at as a threat to the regime, and the Soviet army rolled in with tanks, and the revolution became bloody. At age 3, I did not understand the significance nor the impact on the country and its people when the Red Army tanks snaked through the city streets. But I saw the fear on my parents' faces, and I heard them ask, "What will become of my brothers who fought against the invaders?" I saw the helplessness as the world around me became uncertain. The revolution failed, and the aftermath was unimaginable terror. The Iron Curtain tightly shut down the borders to keep the people and the information from moving in either direction. Those who fought for the country's freedom became enemies of the state. The police used photographs taken during the revolt to identify everyone. There were many who waited for the arrival of the falsely announced American troops. Inside Hungary, desperation and fear was so great that mothers drugged their babies to keep them quiet while crossing the border, and young children suffocated as their parents tried to keep them from crying, while the guards walked only a few feet from their faces as entire groups laid in the mud holding their breath. In a country of only 10 million people, 200,000 citizens of Hungary in danger of persecution walk across the border into Austria, and over the next 5 years scattered throughout the world looking to make a life for themselves. Information was dangerous in those days, and the truth was difficult to find. Parents feared telling their children anything. To speak the truth in front of them, a slip of a tongue could make any person disappear. We acquiesced when they forced on us their ideology. As a people, we were spiritually numb when they prohibited church attendance, and we watched in silence while they removed the crosses from all the buildings and replaced them with their red stars. Our flag became bare in its stripes of red, white, and green without the crest of the kingdom, as it fluttered in shame under the Soviet flag. Everything was nationalized. They said it all belongs to the people now. First the banks, followed by industry, energy, healthcare, agriculture, restaurants, hotels, the corner store were no longer in private hands. We were forced to give up our guns. Then they took all our freedoms, and they took our country. It was illegal not to work. The people worked hard for their meager existence, and the government took the profit to feed the Swiss bank accounts of those at the top and the mighty Soviet machine so it can become a world superpower. Nearly in an instant, millions were made dirt poor, displaced, living in complete insecurity, fearing the government and each other, as 40,000 neighbors turned paid informants. We called them the whisperers because under the cover of night, they went to the government to whisper their deadly information. It became unlawful to speak against the government or to tell a political joke. If you showed dismay,